assess where your focus is going to go this week so that you can make the best use of your time. So what I'd like you to do is to take a peek at this wellness pyramid. I'm pulling up on the screen here. And I just want you to take a moment and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 to identify where your current right now is a priority. And so just, think about for a moment, how are you doing as far as eating right? Have you been putting the right kind of nutrition and fuel into your body? Are you eating healthier, fresh fruits and vegetables? Have you been taking your vitamins? Just rate yourself in that area and just write it down. How about exercise? Have you been engaging in movement? And, do you have your routine that you're doing to keep your body active? So just rate yourself there. And then I want you to rate yourself as far as sleep goes. Are you getting 8 hours or more of sleep every night? Just rate yourself. How you're doing with managing stress. Have you been stressed out lately or feeling pressure? Just kind of analyze. We're just taking stock here. And then also take a look at toxicity. Have you been putting any toxic ingredients into your diet, like such as eating processed foods or just having any exposure to toxins? So just take a moment to identify what your wellness target is for this week. So I want you to look at how you're rating yourself. Where are you on this? And for me, I'll just say eating right is kind of the low on the totem pole for me right now because I've been so busy. So that's kind of my vulnerable spot. So I just want you to pick one area this week to focus on. It can be a lot to take in all the, to live this perfect, healthy life. But just this week, I want you to choose one area that is your focus. And if you could just type that into the chat, just to declare what's your wellness focus this week. What are you going to do? Are you going to focus on nutrition, body movement, getting a good night's rest, getting on top of your stress? What's your one focus? Just type it into the chat. And also what I want to ask you to do is maybe there's like a specific health ailment that you're concerned about, or maybe a friend or somebody. So if you have like a specific health ailment that's popping up, you could also type that into the chat as well, if it's for you or anyone else. And so let's see, I'm checking the chat. Okay, so yes, sleep is popping up. Yes, that's another one. And I just want you to notice like how much more manageable it feels to just focus on one area. And I showed you this wellness pyramid because if you can, just find your weak spots and then throughout that week, go to work to manage that. It's amazing how that healing can ripple into every single area of our lives. So go ahead and keep typing those into the chat just to declare what your wellness focus is for this week. I'm going to ask someone is on the phone. Could you mute yourself? I think that might be Chelsea. I can mute you too, but I just like to leave the option so you can. Here, I'll just mute it. Okay, so as you're thinking about your wellness for this week ahead, I'm going to talk a little bit about a particular body system that is coming up for me as far as my health focus. And so today I want to talk with you for a second about the gallbladder and the solar plexus chakra. Okay, I'm going to ask, or I'm going to mute again. Okay. If you can, just make sure that you're muted, please, so there's no background noise. Thank you. And so we're just going to have a little wellness focus and a highlight for the gallbladder. And so our gallbladder is right here at the solar plexus. Just put your hand on your belly, right below your rib cage. And it's right on the opposite side of the liver. So the liver's on the right-hand side, under your rib cage, and the gallbladder is on the left side. And so the reason why I want to talk with you about the gallbladder is because in Chinese medicine, the gallbladder is associated with not only just digestion, but it's also associated with courage. And in the Chinese tradition, the gallbladder is seen as the seat of decision making. So I feel that this is a really important area for us to focus on at the beginning of the month, on a Monday, as we're kind of moving forward, to really empower this seat of where our bravery is, where our all the energies of the solar plexus, our self-esteem, our confidence. So just so you know a little bit about the gallstone or the gallbladder, it's often overlooked in our healthcare. Like people will like remove it if there's problems. The doctors are like, oh, let's just take your gallbladder out, you know, and they're like, oh, it's not a big deal, but it's a really important organ in our body. And so the gallbladder is the organ that digests fats, and particularly saturated fats. So the liver kind of digests everything else, and then the gallbladder focuses on secreting bile to get rid of saturated fats. And so in our modern day reality, we eat a lot of saturated fats. That usually comes from animals, dairy. Sometimes it can come from like coconut oil and eggs and nuts and seeds. And so sometimes that can build up in the gallbladder, right? Like we're eating so much saturated fat that it's not able to do its job, and so it'll start to build up gallstones. And so these gallstones form, and this is something that's plagued humanity forever. Like they've even found gallstones in mummies. So it's a real situation, and what can happen is these gallstones can often go unnoticed, and what they'll do is they'll block the gallbladder and cause inflammation there. They'll also block the liver and prevent your liver from working well, and they can also block the pancreas and cause different diseases in the body. There's even a link to gallstones like being present and then the formation of cancer cells in the body. So as you can see, like this buildup that can happen around this solar plexus area can cause our own cells to mutate and deform. And like I said, modern medicine doesn't really look at treating this particular area. It's kind of overlooked. But as we all know, the body's this huge Celtic knot. So if you support one area, it's going to support the health of your entire body. So if you notice that you've been eating a lot of animal fats, a lot of pizza, desserts, things like that, then it could be a good idea to bring in some informed self-care for your gallbladder. Just so you know, that saturated fat, it raises your cholesterol levels. It promotes cardiovascular disease. So the gallbladder is so important for maintaining our heart health, for maintaining the proper blood pressure levels so that our body can eliminate those extra fats. So the areas of lifestyle that are super helpful for the gallbladder is to focus on nutrition. Obviously, if there's any kind of digestive problems that are happening, most of them are usually linked to some kind of food allergy. And with the gallbladder, we talk a lot about the saturated fats causing an issue, but it can also be like gluten intolerance that can cause blockages and build up there. So making sure that you're putting the right kinds of foods into your body, you know, detoxing from any fried foods and trying to kind of eliminate and make some healthier choices, maybe not eating a ton of cheese and a ton of those things can really help. And then we also have some different herbs that can support them. So I'm going to go over that. I want to show you a little image here just to give you some ideas about how to support this area of your body that's really like the seat of your courage. So hopefully you can see these images okay. It's kind of hard to see. So if there is, so, you know, I'm talking about the gallbladder, but it could be, this area affects many other areas. So it could be the pancreas, the liver, any kind of stomach disorder. If there's chronic tired feelings or depression or muscle tightness and spasticity, diabetes, hypoglycemia, eating disorders, digestive disorders, these are all signs that your solar plexus chakra might be a little bit out of whack. And so some of the energetic ways that that can show up is maybe you have a low, if your solar plexus is underactive, then you might need to stimulate it. So if you feel like low energy, weak will, low self-esteem, if you have poor digestion, or if you feel like a victim, or perhaps really attracted to stimulants, then bringing some stimulating herbs into the solar plexus, such as like clove, cassia, ginger, digest zen, slim and sassy. Some of these things are really going to kind of speed up that area and just really help you feel more of a sense of good self-esteem, responsible, reliable, playful, meeting your challenges. This also recommends bergamot essential oil, and I really like to bring in the crystals, and I found a really powerful support with that. I actually had an issue a while back with the gallbladder that was extremely painful. I almost had to go to the emergency room, and I was amazed at what a little bit of grapefruit and citrine essential oil or citrine crystal and carrying that with me really helped. Now, sometimes the digestive this area is overactive. And so some of the emotional ways that that can come up is feeling overly aggressive, controlling, needing to be in power or control or right, attraction to sedatives, competitive, hyperactive. And so then you'll want to kind of bring in some of the more cooling oils for this area, such as like fennel, coriander, wintergreen. I really like the HD Clear, the skin clearing blend too, to just really calm this. And then you can also carry around your crystals such as moonstone, peridot. And let's see here. And so these are some of the essential oils that you can apply, and some of the best ways to use these is either to put them in a capsule and take them internally so you can get those herbs into your digestive system to really boost this seat of confidence and courage. And so, you know, if you have bergamot, cassia, clove, coriander, fennel, ginger, grapefruit, the Siberian fir, wintergreen, digest zen, slim and sassy, or HD Clear, just go ahead and grab one of those bottles of your oil. I got my grapefruit here. And then you're just going to want to place like a drop on the palm of your hand and just rub that right on your tummy. And this is just going to help to activate this area, activate this fire within you, inspire you, just really clear away any of the sludge or blockages or obstacles that might be showing up for you. And, you know, as I mentioned, it comes on multiple levels. We have a very physical illness that can happen, but we also have, you know, emotional and energetic processes that go to support that. Okay, and so with that being said, I want to move into just doing a grounding exercise together so that we can kind of clear the solar plexus area and just get our energies aligned for this week ahead. So if you've got that bottle of oil, just go ahead and grab your essential oil, and I want you to place a drop in the palm of your hand and just rub it together. Just breathe it in, and if you don't have oil, just take a couple real deep breaths into our belly. Just drawing a real deep breath, filling your pelvic bowl with breath, and exhale and let it all go. Okay, let's do a couple deep breaths like this together. So just draw in a really deep breath And as you breathe in, I want you to visualize that there's golden light that's pouring in down through your head. Golden lights rolling down your spine, rolling down out your root chakra to the center of the earth. I really want you to see this pillar of light and breathe up the energy of the earth up through your feet, up through your root, at the base of the spine. Just breathe into it and allow this air to move through your legs, and through your stomach. Allow this air to move all through your stomach, up into your throat, down your arms. And just hold this light in any areas of tension. Just allow yourself to breathe into that and notice how you can relax and let go. So just breathe this earth energy up through your pelvic bowl. Allow the color and the light to swirl around your solar plexus. And as you exhale, just let out a ah and let go. Any stress or anxiety that you might be holding on to, just let it go. So I just want to take a moment to breathe this in and allow the color and the light to move through you. Allow any patterns to enter in here just to clear your energy. And as you're in this space, I want you to imagine there's a big golden orb surrounding your body. And you're inside this golden bubble. And it's surrounding your solar plexus and your sacral chakra. And if you notice any dark areas or any holes, just let the golden light to fill that area. Just let it fill you. Let it fill every single cell. You don't have to force it. Just allow it to receive into your body. And so while we're in this state right now, I want you to think about a goal that you have for yourself. What is a goal that you're feeling inspired to achieve and to reach? And I just want you to hold this picture in your mind of you living that goal. See yourself achieving this ideal goal of reaching for yourself that you'd like to achieve over this next week. Or maybe it's your goal for the rest of the season or this month ahead. So just think about it. What kind of healthy relationship goal do you have? Or maybe it's a monetary or a business, financial goal. I want you to think about that and think of how it will make you feel to be living that goal. What are the feelings that come up? Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing? Where are you? Who are you with? I just want you to really get grounded in this state of what are you calling in and what does that look like, and hold this vision in your mind. See yourself, really feel it. And if you notice any blocks or any areas of tension around this goal, just breathe into that space. Just draw a deep breath. Just really allow yourself to relax and to soften. into this state of allowing your vision of what you're attracting to manifest. And so while we're thinking about it and while we're in this state, I want to ask you to just take a moment and type into the chat for us what it is that you are focusing on manifesting. Have a goal for yourself. Maybe it's a business goal. Maybe it's a goal. What is your top priority for this week ahead? Just type it into the chat if you can. So one thing that I think is important is to really declare these goals for ourselves. Yeah, I see one coming in here. Speed up the process. I love it. Yes, that is a very good thing. Okay, so what I want to see, what's coming up for you in your business. What are you manifesting? You could even write, like, if there's a block or an obstacle to that, maybe kind of type that into the chat too, like what's coming up for you. And so with that being said, I really want to get you this week to start thinking about your goal and to write it down. Now there's like a statistic out there that says, like, only like 2% of the population sets goals, and then like 0.5 actually write it down. And so I think that, sometimes we have these things that we want, and it's just this vague idea in our brain. And it can be really good to just dissect the goal a little bit, to really look at what's the anatomy of my goal, what am I really reaching for here. And so our brains work in a couple different ways. There's kind of a masculine and feminine approach to goal setting. So I just want you to notice, where are you? Are you more of the male perspective or the feminine perspective? And so with the masculine perspective, that's more of like a number. So do you get more excited about the number side of a goal, like a financial, that could be like a rank or a certain amount of money coming in every month, or a certain amount of hours with people, just so there's that side of it. And then the other side of a goal is a visionary side. So are you more excited by the vision of living this ideal life for yourself, or are you more on the numbers side? And so if you can just get, your sheet of paper and just write a T square, and on the left side, write vision and dream. And then on the right side, write numbers and goal. And so I want you to think about your goal and ideally come up with a statement for your goal. And then start to write down, what's the difference here? What is the vision of you living that goal? And then what's the actual numbers? So I'll just give you some examples. So I like both sides of it. I find that I'm really drawn to, I need to have the numbers, but if I focus too much on the masculine and the numbers and kind of forcing it in this logical side, then I disconnect from my own goal. So for me, what really inspires me is the vision. But it's good to have a little bit of both. So for your vision, what is living that life like for you? So really try on your goal, and then sort of like imagine yourself looking out into the world, and what does that look like? And so for me, it's, having the ability to play and create and to build a business out of that, and to live that life of, creating sanctuary and holding this healing space every day for the planet. Just really feeling that freedom to connect with my passions of music. I like the vision of having like sanctuary property, being able to go to beautiful locations out in nature and, just be able to take those trips. I like the vision of being surrounded by this beautiful, intentional community. So just kind of write down, what is your vision of your goal? What's that feminine perspective? A lot of times this is emotional or mindset or like where you're going on the journey. And then on the other side for goals and the masculine perspective, then this would be a number. So for me, like in my doTERRA business, this would be a rank, so like the diamond rank. And, I see. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chats here. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, we see a lot of people getting psyched up about the vision as well as the goal. So on the left side, write your vision and your dream, kind of more of like, what does that look like when you try on your goal? What are you doing? Who are you hanging out with? How does it feel? Like, what are you thinking? Who are you surrounded with? Like, how is that impacting you and your community? That would be kind of more of the vision side of that. And then the other side that you want to look at is like, what's the number behind that? So that could be a rank goal. That could be like a specific amount of income coming in every single month. And it's important for us to kind of measure this out, right? Because it's like sometimes we can just get caught in the vision, like, oh, I want this perfect, beautiful reality. But at the baseline, you have to sustain yourself. Like, you have to have money coming in so that that can be possible. So you want to really set to work. Like, what is it, an ideal amount of income coming in every month that would kind of give you the freedom to live that vision? How many clients do you need to attract? So those are just some ideas. And really the reason why that we want to identify where you're at on this, are you kind of more on the numbers or the vision side of it, is, so let's say, for example, you're more driven by the vision side, then what you're going to want to do for your personal development is leverage your purpose. So you're really going to want to take actions that really help you deepen your sense of purpose, and your mission, and you'll be more purpose driven. Whereas if you're more on the numbers side, then that's a very, that's a very logical, brain oriented. So a lot of times when we set goals, our brain will try to sabotage us because it's trying to protect you, right? It's the fight or flight response. So if you are driven by the numbers, then where you'll want to leverage is just facing your fears and being able to stand up to them and overcome them, because they're going to show up. There's always going to be these obstacles and different things that kind of manifest. So as you're thinking about your vision and your goals, what I would like to do is to walk through the anatomy of goal setting. And I'm going to ask you some questions. I have a sheet of paper that I can give to you too to answer some of these. But I think that, as you know, it's the beginning of October. So we only have 3 months left in 2018. So what are you going to manifest in, these next few months? This is kind of like the final push before we enter into a whole new year with a whole new set of intentions. So let's get really clear about your goal. So the first thing, let's see, I've got some notes here, so I just want to make sure that I pull those up. And I'll pull up the sheet of paper, that'll be better. Okay, so these questions are really going to help you determine the strength of your commitment to your goal. So first of all, before we even answer any of these questions, what I want to ask you to do is to write a SMART goal for yourself. So a SMART goal is a statement, and SMART is an acronym. So it means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So I want you to create a statement for yourself that says what your goal is and the date that you're going to achieve that by. So like if your goal is to reach a certain rank, then say it would say, I, Alicia Hashem, will achieve the goal of platinum in doTERRA by December 2018. Okay, so that's just one example. So just make a statement, kind of like your little affirmation. Just say your name, what you're going to achieve, and when you're going to achieve it by. So that's the very first step. And if you have not done that yet, that's where you need to start. Just create a SMART goal. It could be a health goal too, like maybe weight loss or a healthier relationship or friendships, you know, so it could be in any area. It doesn't just have to be business or career related. And so once you've set that SMART goal for yourself, then we really want to go to work to dissect it a bit. So I just have some questions for you, and if you can, jot these down, or if you think of an answer right away, just jot it down really quick to just kind of help to start to look at how we can leverage you achieving your goal, right? I really want to help you kind of, I think it was Danielle that said that she wants to speed up the tangible process. So that's kind of what I want to invite us to do here by dissecting this goal. So if you achieve this goal, how will it make you feel? So you're kind of projecting into the future by trying on a goal. So if you achieve this goal, how will you'll feel excited, deeply tapped into your own power and creative expression. So how is that going to feel to have that manifested? So the next area you want to look at is who else is going to be affected and how will they feel? So sometimes we set these goals for ourselves and we forget that there's other people that are involved in us achieving this goal, right? So think about your family, your clients, your loved ones, your children. How are they going to be affected by you achieving this? And how is that going to make them feel to see you really step into your power? And so I'm sure that they're going to be inspired and deeply touched by you achieving that. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So just ask yourself, can I achieve this goal? Do you believe you can on a scale of 1 to 10? And just rate yourself. So the ideal number that you want to rate yourself at here is like an 8, like a 7 or 8. And so the reason why I say that, if you rated yourself at like a 5 or a 6, then you don't even believe, like this goal might be too big of a stretch for you because you don't even know if you can actually achieve it. And it's like your mindset and your belief is very first. So ideally you want to set a goal that you feel is like a 7 or an 8, that you can achieve it. And so if you're on the lower part of the scale, then maybe scale down your goal just a little bit so you feel like you get up to a higher 10. And if you feel like, oh, it's a 10, I totally got this, then you might need to actually set yourself up with a bigger goal, because the whole idea is to grow into something and to stretch yourself a little bit. So if you're at a 10 already, then your goal's not big enough. So the next area is, what is it going to take for you to achieve this goal? So that's another thing. Like, I don't want you to fall into magical thinking and like set this goal for yourself and then just like la la la, just go about your everyday life, right? Like, we have to really identify like what you need to learn. So what kind of skills do you need to take on and master in order to do this? Like, one of my goals is to be a better singer and musician. So I need to learn, right? I have to like take some classes and hire a teacher or a coach or somebody that can help me. You know, if it's like sales, like maybe you need to learn about marketing or how to close a sale. So just start to write down, what are the different skills that it's going to take? Like, what do you need to master in order to actually achieve this goal. So the next thing is, what's the amount of time that you need to invest into it? And so especially if you have like a big goal and you're reaching for something big, there's probably going to be more time. So really start to identify like how many hours a day would need to be realistically invested in this to make this your full career path or to make this thing a reality. So the next area is, what choices do you need to make? So this could be, choices in just activities that you do, how you're showing up every day. Maybe you need to invest in certain kinds of software or tools. Maybe it's just like, for me, one of it is like just waking up and getting ready for the day, right? Because you work from home. So what kind of choices do you need to make? The next area is, what arrangements do you need to make? So this could be like maybe building a website for yourself, or secretarial work, or maybe like if you're going to be working more, then you need to talk with your partner and trade off nights of cooking meals so that you don't have to do everything. Yeah, it could be hiring people for a website or some kind of automated response. So the next area, and this kind of ties into the, like, what conversations do I need to have? So that could just be like with your partner, with the people that are close to you in your life. It's really important to kind of let people know where you're going so that you can make sure that you have the support that you need. If you are building a business, are you talking to a coach? Are you talking to an upline? So just make sure that you're having those conversations. Perhaps it's conversations with clients, right? And you're trying to get clients. So how many conversations that you need to have a day? What is that looking like? And as you know, we talk about fear a lot and facing our fears and kind of overcoming that fight or flight fear response in the brain. So I want you to start to identify, what fears do you have to face in order to build this? Because they're always there. Those obstacles are always lurking. So it's like, maybe you're afraid to reach out to people. So you're going to have to face that fear. If you feel shy or if you feel insecure, like that's going to need to be faced. Or maybe you're afraid of success, or maybe you're afraid of failing, right? So just kind of jot down some of those fears that really pop up to trigger you and maybe kind of stop you from moving forward and taking action. The next area is, what obstacles do you need to overcome? And so this kind of is the fear thing too. A lot of times there'll be different things that'll pop up and we'll go, oh, well, I can't work because these people don't approve of what I'm doing or whatever, you know? So you're going to have these obstacles that come up, and they're going to need to be faced and overcome, and really leverage yourself by overcoming these fears and facing them, and just knowing like, hey, that's just my nervous system trying to keep me in this safety zone. But what I'm doing is a very good thing. So it's kind of like you have to keep convincing yourself that. And then that can also tie into what habits need to be released. So if you have a habit of procrastinating, or maybe you have the habit of not regularly exercising, or you have the habit of avoiding contact with people, whatever, you know, some of these bad habits that could stop you from really moving forward. And so we're not trying to solve all these problems right now. What we're doing is we're just drawing awareness around them, because the more that you're able to identify it, then you'll see it for what it is, and you can keep moving forward to leverage yourself with your goal. So another area is, what beliefs must be created to do this? So, you know, we can't receive this without creating a new belief system about ourselves. So like one of my beliefs was like just believing in a friendly universe and really believing that I am, you know, supported by the divine in all the steps. It could be like a belief in your natural gifts and abilities and really just like owning them, right? and the belief that it's okay for you and it's safe for you to do this and to embark on this journey. So you really want to go to work to create some affirmations to help you create those new beliefs. The next thing you want to say is, what help do you need to achieve this? So this could be like hiring an assistant for secretarial services. It could be like somebody helping you build your website. It could be people helping you promote or host the events, or people helping share your work. So what kind of help do you need from others in order for this to manifest? And so the next area is what money has to be invested. And so this is part of that law of circulation and flow, right? So you really want to look at, because it's easy to over invest yourself. So it's good to identify these things, like what kind of tools do you need? Do you need coaching, classes? Maybe you need healing tools to support it, clothes, makeup, whatever you need to do to elevate your self-identity. Just take a look at that. Where would your money best be invested? Because you know that saying, you have to spend money to make money. So true. But you know, you want to make sure you're spending your money in the right areas. And finally, I want to ask you, now that we've gone through all of these things and really like looked at all these angles of your goal, are you willing to do what it takes to achieve this? And I really want to invite you to get real here, because this is work, money, skills, time, energy, habits. These are all elements that tie into your goal. So really, you know, it's more than just, that's why like New Year's resolutions don't always work for people, because they don't always really go to work to say, well, am I willing to do what this is going to take? Am I willing to invest the money? Am I willing to do the work and learn new skills? And am I willing to donate that time and that energy, as well as to facilitate like getting rid of bad habits and creating new ones? And it's kind of this whole process. And so yeah, you just want to make sure that you're setting goals for yourself where you feel like you're really excited and willing to do what it takes, because it's worth it, but it is a lot of work. So I hope that's given you some things to think about here. I want to check in on the chat with you and just see how everyone's doing. And so glad to have your contribution and all your tributes here. Thank you so much. I love your intentions. And so I want to actually just go ahead and open up the space to those of you that are here, and just kind of hear about what's coming up for you on your business journeys and your goal setting, and or if you had any thoughts or inspirations just related to anything, it'd be really great to hear from others.